Hello everyone, and welcome to another day of NGS action. Today we are going to the Heroic Division between potential Scrim Thursday and Team Happy Cloud. Now this should be a pretty interesting one because if you look over at the standings, if it does end up going through, but we see Team Happy Cloud there with 16 points. Once it loads in, we'll see the potential Scrim Thursday are at 13 points. However, potential Scrim Thursday have played one less series. So, assuming that series would have been a win, they're actually perfectly tied. These are two teams that are super close to each other in the standings. Either one of these could take it home, and whoever does is going to be looking quite a bit better in the standings compared to before. So, it should be a very interesting game. Now, the map picks have already been done. Coin toss was won by potential Scrim Thursday. And they decided to take first pick. So map pick going over to Team Happy Cloud. Sky Temple and Towers of Doom banned by Team Happy Cloud. And Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass banned away by potential Scrim Thursday. So this should be a very interesting game. I mean, Battlefield of Eternity, always one of the more fighting maps. Really, the entire NGS map pool should be very interesting to watch them fight. And I'm looking forward to seeing some really aggressive drafts. And potentially a gray main, as you know, with this new Worgen build buff. It's only a slight buff, but I really want to see it being played more and more often. But yeah, we are already in lobby, just waiting on the players to slowly peter in. It's a nice, relaxing Sunday. Everyone's taking their time, but we will be in-game shortly. And as usual, whenever I have a little bit of time like this, I will talk a bit more about stuff happening on the channel. As some of you may have noticed, the new sub badges are finally out. I have sub badges for every single milestone from 1 month to 2.5 years, so we'll have plenty of future proofing there. And if you want to check them out, I'm actually not sure if there's a way to look at them, but we see Bagatron in the chat has the tier 1 or the 1 month. My name has a 2.5 year. I'm sure there's some other ways to look into it. Maybe they... I'm actually not sure. I don't think I've ever looked. I probably should have thought this out, but will be an interesting map to watch regardless. And going back to the game, and other updates is I will be casting quite a bit still this week, but we are getting closer and closer to my move date, so I will be taking breaks as we head towards that. But I also think the number of games is slowly shrinking as everyone's finishing up their flex games. So I do expect it'll slow down a bit regardless, but tomorrow I do have a match at 8 p.m. Pacific, Tuesday doubleheader, Wednesday just a single header, and then Thursday another doubleheader. So you'll be seeing quite a bit of me this week, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. But yeah, we are waiting for one final player to join in, and then we should be getting started. Now, I'm really curious to see what these two teams are going to try playing for this Battlefield of Eternity map. I mean, like I've been saying, Greymane going to be quite a bit stronger, and the Worgen build is really good at DPSing down these Immortals. When you're doing a pseudo racing comp, you could even do a 4-1 strat where you have 4 defending and 1 on the Immortal, and Greymane is really good as that one. Still not quite as good as something like the Vala, at least post 7. But it's definitely going to be up there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that, like, genuinely. This is also one of the few maps where Artanis could be played, so if Hokulele is in the chat, maybe there is some hopium for this map. And then I've been noticing quite a bit of Ragnaros getting locked in. I don't expect it will get locked in here. I think it's not the best map for Ragnaros, but it is something to kind of look towards for these future maps once we get those getting set. And that's really all I have to say about this game. At least for now, anyway. Yeah, it was a nice weekend. Ended up going out quite a bit. Pretty big rainstorm today, and still decided to go out for like a couple hours. I was soaked. You ever go out in one of those rainstorms where it's like light rain, and then as soon as you're like halfway to where you're going, it's too late to turn around, but it's also, do you want to keep going? That's when it really started pouring, and I was like completely drenched by the time we got there. There's only like 10 more minutes left, and oh, it was bad. Totally worth it though. Got some good sushi. I'm also getting pretty close at 100%ing Stardew. I guess that's the other kind of update I can give. I'm really bad at filling this dead air time. I'll be completely honest. I'm good when I'm in the zone, but once you need to fill dead air, definitely start struggling a bit. But yeah, 100%ing Stardew Valley is so weird. I did not realize just how much stuff you have to like hoard during your early games to try and be able to like finish it off. I'm doing the craft everything achievement and the polyculture achievement where you give like 15 of every crop. It's not too hard once you get the Ginger Island unlocked, but oh my god, is it so difficult to craft everything, having to unlock everything, then get all the materials. I'm pretty much done. I think there's only like 2 or 3 things left. And once I get that, I'll be good, but getting those 2 to 3 things is going to be quite rough. Yeah, 10th player did finally join into this lobby, so we should be heading out quite soonish. Now for the lineups for potential Scrim Thursday, it is going to be AoE Rules, DH Bob, Shoepuff, C10 Ver HD1, and Jakosh Lu. I think that's how it's pronounced. Could be Jakosh. Could be something completely different. And then for Team Happy Cloud, it will be Rob, Drinking Bird, R275 Delta, Fade, and Chrisinator. And they are saying that they're just waiting for one of the players to get on comms. And then once that happens, we will be getting into this game 1 and hopefully immediately into the action. And they are ready. Casters ready. Just need one more ready check, and we should get going immediately into the draft. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the different comps. I mean, Battlefield of Eternity, I might be wrong, but in my opinion, this is where the most varied team compositions come out. Because there's so many different ways of playing Battlefields of Eternity. You can play as a deathball comp. You could play like 4 and 1 split pusher. You could play 4 and 1 attacker. There's so many different ways. Some are just full team fight. You don't care about racing on the Immortal at all because you just know you're going to constantly fight them. And eventually you'll be able to take it down. Lots of different strats there, but we do get the final ready check, so we should be heading into the draft momentarily. And I don't know if any of you know, but I have... Oh, never mind. We do have a bug, so someone needs to log out and log back in. But for those of you who don't know, I am now multi-streaming this. We are live on Twitch, on Kick, and on YouTube. Eventually, we might go live onto something like TikTok. I don't know. TikTok decided to deny me. I attempted to. But if you prefer those other platforms, feel free to watch on those. Though I will say I only have my music playing on Twitch as I do pay for a license for it, and it is only licensed on Twitch. So any other platform would not be able to work for that. But again, to each their own. Some people don't care about the music, and I know a lot of people have working YouTube TV apps. But the Twitch app, at the very least from what I remember, used to be pretty bugged. I think it's better now, but back in the day, I remember there was such a pain. And I think with older TVs, it still struggles a little bit. Okay, but we did have the player rejoin. Let's go. Whoops, I hope I didn't bait them by saying R instead of caster R. I've done that before, where I say ready, and then everyone thinks I'm talking on behalf of the other team. Okay, yeah. I did not bait the team. They're both ready anyway. But I've killed enough time. And let's get into the draft. Battlefield of Eternity, game number 1 between potential Scrim Thursday and Team Happy Cloud. Now, it is that big Battlefield of Eternity map. It is the 2 lanes. It is pretty well known to be a fighting map. alongside Brax's Holdout and Brax's Outpost if you're really enjoying. I mean, technically it is a fighting map, even if it is an ARAM, but for Battlefield of Eternity, I do expect to see some certain bans getting targeted just on racing. So stuff like the Vala, stuff like the even Raynor to some extent. I don't expect it'll get picked here. But yeah, we'll have to see about that. And then, but it is going to be the Blaze as the very first ban coming out of Potential Scrim Thursday. So it looks like they're trying to target over to that offlane end. Calamansi, thank you for the Prime sub and for helping us reach our goal of 25 subscribers. The records are slowly but surely growing. But I suspect because they have first pick, they don't feel the need to really take any of those really strong racing heroes out, because they can just start targeting towards those more powerful offlaners and try and get a stronger matchup for themselves, since they don't have that counter pick. Let me just get the prediction going, as I almost forgot that. Everyone needs to Gamba. That's just the way it is sometimes. All right, let's get going. Let's get those predictions out. But now it is going to be the Li Ming banned away by Potential Scrim Thursday. They don't want to deal with that long-range poke. And it is, like I said, one of those racing heroes. It's not necessarily the best because you can just straight up body block it, and there's not too much option after that. And the Vala gonna be the final ban coming out of Team Happy Cloud. Now, first pick is available. I'm always pushing for the Grey Main, but I don't even think it's good to first pick. But I do just like pushing for the Grey Main regardless, because that's how I enjoy watching this game. But the Muradin is available for DH Bob, and depending on the build, you actually can deal quite a bit of damage to the Immortals with the Muradin. If you do go the Stormbolt build, there is a talent where you get bonus damage towards neutrals, which obviously is going to include the Immortals. And with a lot of the level 1 talent where you slowly stack up damage through auto attacking, it does get incredibly powerful and can absolutely shred through the Immortals later on. But Team Happy Cloud is going to lock in Chromie for Drinking Bird and Anubarak for Fade. They're going to have that easier engage. They're going to have the Cocoon. And then Chromie as well is going to be really good for team fighting. Can race to some extent. Isn't one of those super, super fastest racers. Stuff like the Greyman will beat it. Raynor would beat it. But will give good, consistent damage. And most importantly, it is safe. And as we do have the Diablo for C10 for HD and the Artanis locked in for Shootbuff. So that's going to be a pretty fun one. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be the off lane or if it's going to be part of the forecourt, but we have 2 tanks and an Artanis already locked in for a potential Scrim Thursday. So this should be pretty interesting. This actually does make me lean towards this being a Stormbolt build for DH Bob, assuming that's who's going to stay on the Muradin, because it does increase a lot of damage towards racing on the Immortals. They're all going to be super tanky. Anubarak, as far as tanks go, is pretty squishy, so in these longer fights, does struggle a little bit more. And Chromie can deal DPS, but if they get on top of her, they will definitely be able to win that 1v1 or 2v1 or whatever, really, with all these beefcakes just jumping onto the backline. But Team Happy Cloud going to ban away the Oriole, and Potential Scrim Thursday immediately banning out the Melthiel. They have a lot of HP, so anything that can fight in the main group is definitely going to struggle a lot more. But Leoric is going to get locked in for Rob, and that will definitely be their offlaner. As we are waiting for either R275 Delta or Chrisinator to lock it in. But this is a huge beefcake team comp coming out of Potential Scrim Thursday as the Deckard Kane gets locked in. Now, I actually really like this pick. It's really good at resetting fights. From both of the heroic abilities, really. Stay a while and listen, really good at just slowing the fight down and restarting it, or if used aggressively, can set up for a play. And then on the other hand, could definitely be the Lord NATO. It makes it a lot harder to play. It kind of separates timings if you want to try and have your entire team die at the same time.
I'm in.
So that would definitely change things as Tyrande and Kira locked in as the final 2 picks for Potential Scrim Thursday. Now, this is a draft Yeah, I would not be able to tell you who's going where. I mean, this isn't necessarily even a 1-4 composition as we normally see on this map. It could definitely be 2-3. Could definitely be really anything else at this point. Just that Toronto is definitely going to have at least one friend with them. But now final pick coming out of Team Happy Cloud. Who's it going to be? It is going to be the Imperious. So they're also going with a bit of a beefier front line. They do have the double bruiser composition with the tank. And I think that's a really good answer. I think they did need something that can stay in those fights longer. Toronto's going to be pretty good at healing the team. And the scaling, I do think, kind of favors potential Scrim Thursday for this. Depending on their talent builds as well. Because, I mean, at this point, this draft could be going anywhere. So, really, it's just going to come down to who planned this out better, who's going to execute better as we head into game number 1. All right, and we are back, and we are here for Battlefield of Eternity, game number 1 between potential Scrim Thursday and Team Happy Cloud. Now, we're still loading in, and as I say that, we finish loading in, so we're in a pretty good spot. Now, I am going to be watching the talent specifically on the side of potential Scrim Thursday. I want to know what they're going to be building on the Artanis and on the Muradin, because this could be pretty interesting. And then, again, just looking at this lane setup. Now, on the side of Team Happy Cloud, I think they could just leave Rob in the off lane. Even if they do decide to do a 2-3 setup on potential Scrim Thursday, it is one of those heroes that's pretty safe on their own, kind of playing as an anchor role. But not going to really know how they want to set this up until the minions are already in the lanes. The talents are still being held, and it is actually going to be a Dragon's Breath talent build coming out of Chrisinator. I think they realize they're going to have to try and play to the backline. There's Time Trap. Does land on 2. Same with the Condemn. Now they have the Glacial Charge coming in. Not Glacial. Why am I talking about? Celestial Charge coming out of Drinking Bird onto C10. And it does look like it is going to be that 1-4 comp. And incidentally, it is the basic attack stacking build coming out of Shoepuff. So that's going to be infinite damage Artanis. And it's also going to be that stacking talent as they are going in with the Celestial Charge again, but Revolving Split going over on top. Fade could be getting pushed into the backline, and it is a pretty squishy tank, but they're looking for a Fade, but with the healing is going to be fine. C10 starting to get low, once again hit by the Time Trap, and another Celestial Charge, and the Dragon's Breath, but now they're trying to trade it back onto Drinking Bird. Bob is in the area, Revolving Sweep onto Drinking Bird. Carnage gonna come through, but that's not enough damage. Now Jaykosh could be in a pretty bad spot and is getting blocked away, but neither one of these two teams is going to have enough damage to get the first blood, but they're both playing aggressively. They're both definitely trying to fight here, as now Fade will get stunned up into the wall, but we'll just burrow charge over it to get back to safety. Also going to be a lot of interesting stacks to look out for. The Dragon's Breath stacks are going to be fun to watch. The stacks for Perfect Storm and the Protectors of Ayer. As another Carnage just poking out Drinking Bird pretty heavily. Now they're looking on to Fade, but they're also looking on to Bob. They do have the Root. They have the Storm Bolt. But Jaykosh is on the wrong side and will go down. Revolving Sweep, kind of bringing to the wrong side of the map. Will be the first blood going over towards Team Happy Cloud. But now because of this, DH Bob looking over towards the top side. They could look towards Rob. Just a little trade. They have the phase shift, but the Storm Bolt just gonna go wide. Definitely could have been an opportunity to try and get that kill. But now instead it is going to be Team Happy Cloud getting started onto the siege camp over onto the bot side. They could look to contest. Delta is pretty low on mana. C10 is going to be here as well. Burrow Charge Time Trap is going to start splitting stuff off, but Bob is here and Jaykosh is here as well. Drinking Bird kind of on the backline. DH Bob just jumping on a Chrisinator, and now they're able to zone them away, and they will be able to steal the camp, and they're also going to get a kill. Potential Scrim Thursday definitely coming out on top of that play. And now with this extra push, they could get a decent chunk of damage onto this wall. And at the very least, they're going to be able to buy a little bit of time, a little bit of pressure. Because the Immortals are spawning in 10 seconds. Now Fade is trying to get that Bruiser Camp started. But Jaykosh is already here, just once again trying to get in the win with the Carnage. Dealing so much damage, just trying to break that shield. Rob is here as well. as both sides are starting to look to contest onto the Celestial Charge. Will land. Jay Koshlu with the revolving sweep, able to buy a bit of time, but I don't think they'll be able to buy anything else except that little bit of time. But they're still trying to heal. AoE rules, keeping Jay Koshlu alive, and now Fade's starting to get low, but they will finish off that Kira, and that will be another kill going over. And now Shupov just trying to fight. Rob looking to back away, and will get hit once again by those twin blades. As now we're at 50 stacks for the protections of Fire, 21 for Perfect Storm, 14 for Deep Breathing. Deep Breathing is almost finished off. And it's so hard for them to try and play on this. Now Shupov is going to start hitting onto this Immortal. But obviously by taking this stacking talent, not going to be quite as strong at racing. But DH Bob will be with soon enough anyway. Yes, they do have the Sledgehammer talent. It is that level 4 talent. So it is going to deal 350% damage to non-heroes. And that's anything. Now Delta is actually getting caught out. Stormbolt going to land with the Carnage. Is able to eat up a lot of those miniature potions, but with the revolving sweep will not be able to survive. Now they have the Celestial Charger and Jay Koshlu and DH Bob both getting low. Burrow Charger on the back line as well. DH Bob just trying to get away. Rob is dealing damage, but AoE rules just hiding between these two brushes. Fade gonna get stunned up as well with the Lunar Flare. Fade could be the target here, but they will be able to take off Jay Koshlu in the back line, as it's another 1-for-1, but overall a 2-for-1 in favor of potential Scrim Thursday. As once again, they're able to slowly but surely push away onto this fight and then come right back to the Immortal. And that seems to be their main strat right now. Now, like I was saying, it is going to be a lot of cooldown reduction with the auto attack. So the Stormbolt is going to be coming out fast. It's going to be able to deal a lot of damage. C10 could be in a bad spot. The Christinator with the Sandblast dealing quite a bit of damage. Celestial Charge lands on it too, as Shupov trying to get to the backline, looking for Christinator, but with the healing will be okay. C10 will finally get finished off as another Celestial Charge lands, and this time it's on AoE rules. And if they're able to take down the healer, but Lunar Flare is there, and now Rob burning down to the Carnage, but Shupov just needs a little bit more damage with the final Twin Blades. Will be able to get the kill. Christinator riding away, but also burning down 1 HP, but it will get finished off by the revolving sweep, by the Carnage. As we do get a pause. So some pretty close team fights so far, as it does seem like someone has disconnected. So they should be getting back in shortly. Oh, JK, we're already back in? That was confusing. Someone just lost all their pauses and all their unpauses. I think there was like 3 or 4 unpauses and pauses in a row. But both teams are ready, so we should be heading back into a game shortly. And there we have it. Okay, everything's fine. We're back in the game. Nothing happened. I should turn off the chat, though. But again, as I was saying right before the pause, potential Scrim Thursday winning out really hard in that team fight. They're stacking up super well. 110 stacks on Protectors of Fire. And now the Bruiser Camp has been started by Team Happy Cloud. They're both on level 7. And in fact, the level lead actually there in favor of Team Happy Cloud, since they were focused more on trying to collect that soak instead of just team fighting. But now Rob could be in a bad spot, and they are just looking towards Rob. Wraithwalk will come through. The phase shift is there. But now the time trap trying to keep them. Jake Koshlu just standing onto the point, and the entire team is just jumping over the wall, and Rob is gone. They're able to get 2 Fade as well. Drinking Bird is alive for now, but the Dragon's Breath is dealing damage to the backline. They're looking for the Celestial Charge, but we'll get a Shadow Charge into the wall instead. Phase Shift is going to come through. Drinking Bird will get finished off. It's potential Scrim Thursday. A 3-for-0, 3-for-1. Let me retract that. It's a 3-for-1. But with the Immortal pushing through with the Bruiser Camp at the same time. So this is going to be the first Ford going down. Potential Scrim Thursday getting so much value. And it's just with that confidence, just constantly contesting onto everything. Always trying to play forward, always trying to team fight. And I really like that style coming out of them. And now with the Immortal, they're still pushing down. Only now lose the shield. Heroic abilities are now available for potential Scrim Thursday. They have that level 10 and a full level lead to play with. They could look for the dive. They are underneath the keep, which definitely makes this a bit more difficult as the Dragon's Breath clearing on the back line. But Celestial Charge does land on a C10 and the Burrow Charge, and just so much roots. They have C10 caught out and will get finished off. But now Celestial Charge, they're still looking for more. AoE rules will get taken down to half HP. but the keep is gone. Now, can they get anything back? I think they definitely will be able to get J. Koshlu. One more Sandblast, and that will be it. Fade looking for the Burrow Charge, though. Not going to be able to land it onto Bob, but with the Cocoon, we'll be able to. When in doubt, use the point and click. They have the Time Trap as well if they need it. Now, they have the Laser Purifier Beam over top onto Delta Celestial Charge. DH Bomb starting to get low. Will get hit by the Burrow Charge as well. Starfall over top. Trying to zone them away, but it's not going to be enough. Drinking Bird looking for AoE Rules. Not going to be able to find a Lunar Flare. Should turn this out for now, but with the Entomb, AoE Rules has nowhere to go. There is a wall, and we'll just be once again on the wrong side of the map, trying to buy a bit of time, but with the Celestial Charge, we'll get finished off. And now Rob could still look for more. This fight never ends. They have the Burrow Charge. They have the Temporal Loop, and stay a while and listen as well. They're going to take down C10. Now Jake Oshlu looking for Delta on the backline. Will land the stun with the Carnage as well, but the health bars are coming through. Jake Oshlu in a bad spot. Will get finished off with the Celestial Charge once again. And I don't even know how many people. I can only count to 4, and there was definitely more than that coming through on the side of Team Happy Cloud, as they just got kill after kill after kill, and then they respawn and they kill them some more. But at the end of the day, despite now being down about half a level, I still think overall that entire string of events, as now Shoopuf is going to be in a bad spot, will be unstoppable. It does have the Purifying Beam onto Drinking Bird. Will buy a little bit of space, but Shoopuf definitely in a bad spot. Will get finished off as well. Make that another kill on top of that, because again, I'm not going to even bother trying to count that, but now Fade might get traded back, but with a Burrow Charge, we'll be able to get away safely. But with the keep down, I still think it's worth it for potential Scrim Thursday. I think they're going to have a much easier time for these future fights, because every lane's just going to passively push in for them. Now DH Bob already at 67 stacks of Perfect Storm, and that's kind of the other part. Even if they're losing the fight, they are stacking 186 Protections of Air, 67 Perfect Storm. Like, these Dragon Bolt, or these Storm Bolts are dealing so much damage. But right now, there might be a fight brewing, and level 13 advantage is there for Team Happy Cloud, and that is something they could try to look forward to. As Shoopuf is here, they have the Temporal Loop on his C10, but not too much going to come out of it. Shoopuf able to buy enough space, and I'll stay a while and listen as Fade's just getting auto by AoE Rules. Shoopuf is in the Cocoon, but Drinking Bird is on the wrong side of the map. And now with the Lightning Breath coming out, with the extra stun, they will be able to finish off the Imperius. Now the Phase Shift almost lands on a Delta, as DH Bob will use the Haymaker to knock away Rob, and Shoopuf still playing forward. Purifier Beam is going to land onto Chrisinator, just forcing them to move around and forcing them to play a bit safer. And once again, they are just sending DH Bob to deal with this. These Storm Bolts deal a lot of damage. They're one hitting the minions. They're going to be dealing over 1k to the Immortals as well. And I really like that strategy, but now the team fight breaking out once again. C10 gonna get hit by the Scroll of Sealing. Shoopuf gonna jump immediately on a Chrisinator, but is gonna be part of the Temporal Loop of the Carnage on a Chrisinator as well. AoE Rules is on the backline, getting caught by Rob. The Entomb will come through to split the fight up, but now Rob is on the wrong side of it. Drinking Bird will be able to trade back into AoE Rules, and there's no healer left for potential Scrim Thursday. Fade looking to play forward. Still has the Impale up, I believe, but now the Scroll of Sealing is going to land on the C10. Celestial Charge as well. Stay a while and listen. Gonna be onto the backline. C10 is trying to use the Shadow Charge to get away, but able to take down Chrisinator on the backline. Shoopuf just dealing so much damage at this point. Drinking Bird going to follow. And just like this, the fight's still continuing on. Jake Schluth not going to be able to land the unrelenting strikes. But they're not even bothering dealing with the Immortal. They're just trying to fight. DH Bob trying to stack up the Stormbolt. And this Artanis just trying to stock up the Protectors of Ayer. And now with this, they're going to be able to come back to the Immortal. They're going to be able to get an almost full HP, full shielded Immortal, pushing in for them into this bot lane. This fort, at the very least, will go down. And with the pressure they already have from the minions on the top side, I wonder how much more they can get with this. And actually, they'll also be able to take the Bruiser Camp, because why not? As DH Bob just immediately going to be shoving them all the way in. And now, once again, they have the level lead back. These stacks are really starting to get insane, though. 27% bonus damage per auto is a big deal, and does have the triple strike too now. But they're looking to fight onto the back line. Drinking Bird is going in with the Celestial Charge, but does get interrupted by the Shadow Charge, and the CC Chain will get the final kill. as Delta just tanking the lightning breath from the Stay a While and Listen. Shupov gonna help with the DPS now, and they will be able to pull them into the Star Cloud. Now Fade stunned up against the wall, but the Unrelenting strikes on Rob, almost gonna be there in time, as Crusader does jump over, but that's still a 2-for-0. Level 16 talents are there now as Rob gets pulled back and will be low and will get finished off. The face swap is just gonna come in and now make that a 3-for-0 with the Immortal still shielded on the keep. And honestly, they could try and push for the game here depending on how much else they can get, as DH Bob finishes off Crusader and Fade gets pulled back in, but does have the burrow charge to get back to safety. C10 looking to play a bit aggressively, but with all those different forts there and those cannon towers, it's going to be difficult, but they are playing to end the game. DH Bob is here. Any target, by the way, gets hit by those storm bolts, but that team fight is going to be breaking through. It's their last chance. Revolving sweep, and the Carnage will finish off the Imperious. The Entomb will land onto the back line, but the Immortal still healthy. Rob is not, though. Will get finished off, and this should be it. This should be game number 1 going to potential Scrim Thursday, as they do clear up the core. All right, that was a very interesting map. Jake Oshlu dealing so much damage, but Chupa 45k from the Bruiser roll just because of those non-stop sacks. I believe did end up going over 300 by the end of that game. Really well played by Potential Scrim Thursday, and this exact draft, this exact playstyle is why I love Battlefields of Eternity. Now, we have good news and bad news. The good news is there will be a game 2 coming up. It is a best of 3, but the bad news is Battlefield of Eternity was already played, so unfortunately we will have to go to another map, but should still be a good time, and let's all enjoy it when we come back. Hello, hello, and welcome back. We are here once again to Brax's holdout between Potential Scrim Thursday and Team Happy Cloud. Now let's get those predictions in for this game number 2. And I was saying it will be sad that we don't have another Battlefield of Eternity, but Brax's holdout is definitely one of those other super aggressive maps. Now there are some picks that I do expect to get banned away, something like potentially the Dahaka or the Genji especially. I do believe both these two teams do play both of them, so wouldn't be surprised to see that removed. Now, it was map pick by Potential Scrim Thursday, and it's always fun, especially on this map, because the counter pick is so important here. So it's one of those maps you pick that gives you that advantage. But now Oriole, going to be the first ban coming out of Team Happy Cloud. They just don't want to deal with that today. Super powerful in death ball compositions, so not surprised to see it removed. Now the only difference is if there are any of those big heroes that you are scared of, Potential Scrim Thursday, this time around, their second pick, they will not be able to snag one of those for themselves, as they do ban away the Joanna. And Joanna makes sense, able to sit on the point forever, doesn't get scared at all, just gonna stand there, take a billion damage, Iron Skin gets popped, healer able to heal them back up, and they're still on the point, so very difficult to play into. But Artanis actually gonna get banned away by Team Happy Cloud. That's gonna be the big boy getting removed, as like I said, Genji gonna be the final ban coming out of Potential Scrim Thursday. And this draft moving very quickly. Vala will get locked in for Christinator. Now Vala definitely isn't quite as contested on Brax's holdout as she would be on something like Battlefield of Eternity, but it's still a very powerful hero, still very solid as a DPS, does have some counters, but they're all able to be played into. And most importantly, we'll be able to deal a lot of just flat DPS, as Jakoshlu gonna lock in Kira and Shupuff gonna lock in the Junkrat. So this is gonna be pretty interesting here as well. So last time they did play Jakoshlu as the melee assassin rather than the offlaner, and we'll be able to provide a decent bit of damage, and Junkrat obviously going to be able to provide a ton of control over on these points, as Uther gets locked in for 275 Delta, and Sonya going to get locked in for Rob. So this will be a pretty strong offlaner gun, and their team fight's already looking pretty difficult to play into. They do have either the D shield or the oh, I'm trying to remember what that stun, but the big AoE stun from Uther. I swear I know my ability names. And then with Leap, with Rain of Vengeance, they're going to have a lot of lockdown tools. And that's just coming out from Heroic. Sonya and Uther also have a stun in their base kit. But now Sukov is going to get banned by Potential Scrim Thursday, as they are worried about that double healer comp with Uther main tank. It definitely exists, and it's definitely really good. And the main way to make it work is by having one really powerful hyper carry, and Vala can definitely fit the bill. So trying to be a little bit safer with their bans on the side of Potential Scrim Thursday. Now, Team Happy Cloud, they could ban pretty much anything except DPSs. And honestly, even DPS, they could ban that, but they're just going to take DH Bob off the Muradin. They saw how powerful that Stormbolt build was. They don't want to deal with that. Divine Storm, thank you, Hoku. I do see it picked occasionally. I've definitely tried memorizing it before. I don't know why. I was just leaving my brain. But, I mean, that's going to happen with a lot of ability names. But it is going to be the Anduin and the ETC locked in for DH Bob and C10 for HD. And they're going to have quite a bit of lockdown on the side of Potential Scrim Thursday as well. So far, every single one of their heroes has at least one form of hard CC. That will definitely make teamfighting a bit easier later on, and especially with the Leap of Faith coming out from the Anduin, it'll also make it quite a bit easier to try playing into it. As Chromie and Garage gonna be the final two picks for Drinkenbird and Fade for Team Happy Cloud. Chromie once again is able to deal quite a bit of damage from relative safety, and especially for Baxis, is going to be really good at clearing away the Zerg. So I do like that pick coming out from Drinkenbird. And Garrosh, they're looking to play aggressively with the Uther. They're going to have so much lockdown just between this tank healer combo, and with the damage from Val and Chromie, more than enough to finish off the team fights. As the final pick is going to be the Tyrael coming out from AoE rules. Now I'm wondering where this Tyrael is going. I'm assuming it's going to be an offlane Tyrael. And the Kira is going to be the main assassin there. But pretty interesting drafts coming in. It could even be a 2-3 setup coming out from Potential Scrim Thursday, but I have no idea. There's only one way to find out, and that's going to be by watching game number 2. All right, and we are back here with Potential Scrim Thursday versus Team Happy Cloud. This should be a good matchup. I mean, game 1 was really solid. Potential Scrim Thursday, though, able to eke ahead just by playing more and more aggressive, more and more forward. I really like this style of play that Potential Scrim Thursday does. It's super entertaining to watch, super entertaining to cast. And honestly, when I play, I find it super entertaining to play. Right now, it is just going to be Rob immediately going to the top side. Jaykosh Lu might be the offlaner here, but currently standing in the middle, it could definitely change as they start moving forward. And I've seen a couple of Anchor Tyraels played. I've seen a couple of interesting decisions being made when it comes to having that Tyrael on your team. More versatile a hero than I honestly expected, as the grenades are just going to be thrown out, dealing a bit of damage to the gate, a bit of damage to the wall. But Jaykosh Lu's here, all 5 members. They have Fade with a revolving sweep, Carnage as well, and they land the Chastise, a little bit more damage. Power Slide from C10, able to provide the final little bit of CC and also zoning away any help or safety from the backline. So it's an early first blood coming out of Potential Scrim Thursday, as they send all 5 members to the bot lane for that play. Could have been bad if it didn't work out, but I mean, they got the first blood. They're going to be able to get the advantage. Jaykosh Lu will be able to pick up the soak that is landing there. Rob trying to get out of the way, but not going to be able to be there in time. A good idea by Rob to try and get in the way, though, because once it's crashing, what you need to do is you need to try and zone them off from the XP orbs, trying to make sure they can't get the big ones, and then the longer you're able to hold them back, maybe they'll never even be able to get the little ones. As Fade, once again, getting jumped upon, and Chrisnator in a bad spot will get tossed back by into the fray. Fade able to save them. But the control currently in favor of Potential Scrim Thursday. They're still throwing the grenades just over the wall. Groundbreaker is going to land on it too, but will be traded back and forth. And actually, interesting move coming out of C10. Trying to play on the backside. Will have the flank. Will be here. C10 just standing. Will get hit by the Hand of Justice, but doesn't really care too much. It's just kind of standing there, nailing onto that time trap. Fade looking for the aggressive play as well, but not able to find a Chrisnator. Starting to get poked pretty heavily as Shupuff gets hit by a lot of damage on the backline, as we do get a kill in the top side. It is going to be Jaykosh Lu getting that solo kill in the top lane, in the off lane, as once again the beacons are both in favor of Potential Scrim Thursday. Now, this is a pretty snowbally map. If you're able to get the Zerg early on, you're able to get so much pressure, and they're already at 70%. They have the HP advantages over in this bot lane. Chrisnator has to reset. Delta doesn't have any mana, and I think that's actually just going to be the Zerg coming out immediately. That's going to be 100%. The siege camp is going to get started right on cue, and they will have the main push coming out through the top side. Now Rob is going to be here trying to defend. Will get hit by the revolving sweep. Face melt as well, but Hand of Justice landing on a C10. C10 could be in a bad spot as well. Rob just trying to spin, but not going to be able to deal enough damage. The Banelings are finally landing onto the wall, as they send 4 members to deal with this, to try and get this pushed in. The wall is already going to go down. Now, how much more can they get on to the keep? Rob going to get taken down low, but so is C10. Jaykosh Lu gets hit with the Sandblast as well. Rob just going to heal back up off of the melee Zerg. Jaykosh Lu looking for the aggressive play. The Chrisnator with the vault, able to dodge away in time. And as the Dragon's Breath, once again, dealing so much damage on the backline, already did max out the talent of Deep Breathing. Haven't really had a chance to talk about the talents either, as it also is the auto attack volley, going to be Creed the Hunter. And with this, they will be able to finish off the last of the Zerg, so it will be just the wall going down in the top side and in the bot side, as Shupuff has slowly been pushing here, but now C10 trying to play aggressively. They're on to Rob as well. And Rob's the one that's kind of in a bad spot and will be the one to back away as C10 will get locked in. Bob in a bad spot. Fade looking for the play. Is unstoppable. Has a little bit of healing and just needs one little bit more damage, but will have that healing coming through. Fade could be on the wrong side of the map looking for Bob, but will not be able to approach without going down. So it is a 1-for-1 at the end of the day. But the HP bars, once again, in favor of potential Scrim Thursday. They're just going to start walking up to this Bruiser camp, but they're not going to be able to start it. Now, both forts are still alive for Team Happy Cloud, so they definitely did lose quite a bit during that Zerg play, but they haven't lost their passive pressure yet. It's still bad losing the wall this early on just because everything will be able to push into them faster, and when it does, when the waves do bounce back and forth, it'll bounce further into them. And now Fade looking for a play, not going to be able to get the Wrecking Ball as C10 gets hit by the Dragon's Breath. So much damage coming out of Drinking Bird. If they're able to be in a position where they can really start playing aggressively for it, they can get quite a bit of C10 in a bad spot. Is trying to back away. It actually goes in forward. They have the healing. They have the Hand of Justice as well. C10 in a bad spot. One more auto with the vault is going to get that kill. Crusader with the empowered damage is going to be quite strong. And I haven't checked yet, but yeah, no deaths yet on this Vala. Does have the Gambit. Going to be at 77 stacks so far. So it gets a 1 extra % DPS. As now this Bruiser camp is going down, but Fade starting to get traded on pretty heavily and jumping onto Crusader as well. But now AoE Rules is going to be in a bad spot. Time Trap is there. We'll be able to buy a little bit of time, but it's going to be hard holding on to it as J-Kosh is going to come down. And once again, the camp going over towards potential Scrim Thursday. And J-Kosh with their evolving sweep on the backline, able to take down the Chromie. And now this Bruiser camp is shoving in. They're able to push them off the wave as well. Fade trying to just buy back some of that area, but it's so difficult with this pressure. Rob is here and is going to let them in. But again, they don't really care. They're just going to power slide out. They're going to take back the beacons. And they're already at 20%. So this is a really strong showing right now from potential Scrim Thursday. They're playing super well. As C10 will be able to knock a little bit of damage onto this wave. The Bruiser camp is already gone. But they're over a full level ahead now. Now there's trading happening over the top side. Rob trying to fight J-Kosh. But Drinking Bird has already backed away, so Rob maybe a bit too far up. Gets hit by the Carnage. C10 will get the power slide, revolving sweep, face melt, and one more auto for J-Kosh to get the kill. As AoE Rules just jumping on a Drinking Bird, and look at the damage those autos are doing. Will also force out the Heroic, as in the bottom there's quite a bit of trading as well. Bob almost going down. But Crusader and Fade quite low too. It doesn't seem like Crusader does have a method of healing back up, as Fade is going to be here. Crusader now grouping back in because they know they need to fight here. As J-Kosh starting to get low, will get hit by the Hungering Arrow, but the shielding and the healing will be more than enough. And now C10 trying to trade with Delta. Is on top, but level 10s are coming through soon. But AoE Rules gets knocked into the backline, will get finished off. But now the Heroics are there for potential Scrim Thursday. Riptire on the backline, looking for Crusader. Will be able to take them down low, but won't be able to get the kill. As J-Kosh looking for the angle. Rob is here as well. And J-Kosh is getting stunned up, getting spun on top of by Rob. But the Zerg are here with the extra damage. And the Dome is going to come through as well. Holy Word Salvation will bring everyone back up to full HP. And the Leap of Faith has already been used. And C10 in a bad spot will get hit by the Carnage. But now dancing in the mosh pit. Will not get cancelled away. Relenting Strikes will, however, land on a Delta. And Delta will be the first to go on side of Team Happy Cloud during this 1-for-1 trade. But a 1-for-1 trade is good when you're the one that's pushing in with the Zerg. And they're going to continue pushing on. The Keep's already down about 40% HP as they do get onto Crusader 50 HP. J-Kosh with the Carnage, able to land at last little bit of dodge, will be able to get that kill. And potential Scrim Thursday, I've just been saying their name non-stop because they're just playing non-stop aggression. And they're getting non-stop victories in these team fights. Now level 10 Heroics are finally up for Team Happy Cloud, but there's no one to use them on. Potential Scrim Thursday have just backed away. They got what they came here for. But C10 did not, though. Is looking for more. Finds Rob as they're now looking to contest onto the siege camp, or at the very least trying to prevent Team Happy Cloud from taking it. Now the power slide has just been used, so C10 does not have them for a little while. Gets hit by the Dragon's Breath. Crusader with the Rain of Vengeance. They have the temporal loop as well. As C10 starting to get low, but Jacob also went in low, and the leap lands onto them. Jacob will get finished off. And now Drinking Bird is on the backline. C10 looking for the power slide. Not going to be able to land it quite right away. Fade looking for the team fight as well. Riptire will land. And there goes the Vala. AoE rules trying to get traded back. But DH Bob is just healing everyone so much. Constantly autoing. D-Shield will come through onto Rob. But it's not enough to get any team fight going back in their way. It's still a 1-for-1. As AoE rules looks towards Rob. Will get traded on a little bit. And once again, 1-for-1, but the HP bars, but the pressure. Potential Scrim Thursday are going to be able to steal away this camp. And that's all they really wanted there. They're okay to fight. They're okay to trade bodies as long as they get the objectives. And now Fate is pretty low. And even with this armor, shouldn't be able to last too long here. Just going to get jumped on by all 5 members. That's going to be another kill for potential Scrim Thursday. And it's going to be 23 seconds without the Garrosh, without the main tank. For Team Happy Cloud. Now C10 looks to play a bit forward and just trying to zone them away so they cannot start clearing onto any of these minions. Time Trap will land onto C10. Both the power slide will be able to just back away safely. Now, the Bruiser camp is back up, but the beacons are going to be activated in about 20 seconds. And I was talking earlier about how this is a snowballing map. At this point, we can say we're definitely in the snowball state. Fade is here, does get stepped on into a trap, is unstoppable, looking for the play. Leap will land onto 2. They have the taunt, they have the stun, but D-Shield and Holy Word Salvation is going to be coming through. And sorry, not D-Shield, but the other one. Sanctification, but that's still 2-for-0 in their favor, or 2-for-1, sorry. But now Jay Koshlu looking on the backside. DH Bob gets pushed in, AoE rules. Able to jump away, and it's a 2-for-1 once again for potential Scrim Thursday. And again, they'll take that trade and just go right back to the Bruiser camp. These team fights are just a distraction for the way they want to play their game. Team Happy Cloud is just there to lower their PBs. As so the one final minion will get cleared away, but Fade able to buy a little bit of time by standing on the point, able to get it in their favor. Now there is a talent advantage right now coming out of potential Scrim Thursday, level 14 to level 12. AoE rules looking on the back line. AoE rules could be in a bad spot actually, but will just jump backwards in time. And will get tossed right back in. They have the taunt. They have the Rain of Vengeance. They have so many stuns, and AoE rules just gets absolutely cleared away. And despite it being a 4v5, despite the level 13s being in favor of potential Scrim Thursday, Team Happy Cloud still has to back away. They have a massive wave pushing into their bot side, and because of that, they're going to have a massive Zerg rush coming into their hands as Fade looking for the play on a C10. But with the extra power slide, we'll be able to just dash away back to safety. Riptire just used for the extra damage onto the front line this time, or onto 4 members. But now teamfight is coming through. C10 on a Chrisnator. Chrisnator going to go down. And with the mosh pit on to 2 members, Delta the only one not in there. But Delta, they just finish off without it. Rob's down, Fade's down. Or Rob's not down yet, but will be shortly with the Carnage with a few more autos from Jake Shlu. Will get traded back. DH Bob is in a bad spot, but again, Holy Word Sanctification going to be coming through. Or Holy Word Salvation, sorry. They will be able to get that extra kill, that extra defense. Striking Bird will follow, and that's all 5 members gone on the side of Team Happy Cloud. A potential Scrim Thursday in 12 minutes already onto the court. Chrisnator going to try and buy a bit of time, but it's not looking good. They still have the Zerg Rush to contend with. Now the Sanctification is there right in front of the fountain. D-Shield as well for Chrisnator, but the damage might actually be enough. Shoop-Up will be going down shortly. 1 more auto will go down. AoE Rules is trying to survive. They have the leap onto 3 targets, but they will lose Delta. And C10 is on the back. They have the extra shields coming out. But Chrisnator just trading back. C10 needs 1 more hit. And with the vault will be enough. Chrisnator now could be in a bad spot as Jake Shlu will finish off Fade. But no, with the last bit of healing, doesn't matter. The Zerg are here. And it's a 2-0 domination for potential Scrim Thursday. I think that may have been the game I have most consistently been really yelling at the top of my lungs because the fighting just didn't stop. 13-minute game, 28 kills total. And if we had another minute, there would definitely be more. They were in the middle of a team fight when that game ended. Really massive and commanding victory from potential Scrim Thursday. The aggression just over the top. They never let off the gas pedal, and they're rewarded with the 4 points. Now, I'm going to see if I can get an interview going, so don't go anywhere quite yet. And hopefully I'll be able to find someone. Give me 1 moment. Okay, hopefully someone will go in. Let me just finish setting up as well, because Discord likes to be annoying with that.
Hello?
Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Sorry, what? Aren't you on a different team?
I handle press for this team.
Ah, okay. Okay, that makes a lot. I was so confused. I thought this was just something else. Okay. For everyone in chat, I am joined here by, I guess, the press manager of Potential Scrim Thursday, Mundane Zebra.
Press secretary, please.
Press secretary. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, either way, congratulations on your 2-0. That was a very commanding victory.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the main things I really want to talk about, like, though as someone part of the press team over at Potential Scrim Thursday, this double tank, kind of triple frontline that they played over on Battlefield of Eternity. I mean, there's so much I want to ask about for
what
that.
What do you mean they? This is a we kind of thing. I'm part of the team here.
That you all want to play over on that side. I mean, you had the Artanis with the Protectors of Ayer talent level 1 just stacking away. You had the Stormbolt talent coming in for DH Bob Smeridin. Was this something fully pre-planned? Was this just something that's been your ace?
Yeah, I mean, DH Bob really likes to play tanks. So when DH Bob comes up with any drafts, DH Bob like really wants to get as many tanks in as possible.
So with that being said, it's like that was an offlane tank Muradin with a Stormbolt build. Now, was this just because it's the Battlefield of Eternity? Obviously, is going to give a lot of pressure towards racing. But do you know if this is something that DH Bob just likes playing overall?
Yeah. It's Well, I mean, okay, the main reason is because it's BOE. Like, yes, you do have pretty good race with Muradin, but DH Bob is a big, as I said, he's a big tank player. So, it's all about the tanks when it comes to DH Bob.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely worked out in both these games, and especially the aggressive plays going onto the enemy camps at all points, even when you're down levels, you're still constantly just pressing forward, trying to steal away those camps or just team fight on top of them. A lot of the time, doesn't even seem to really care about the camps themselves. Is this what is now your team identity? Is this something you want to keep going with as the potential Scrim Thursday identity?
Well, I think that one of the problems was that we're pretty used to losing this season. So whenever we were ahead, we thought that we were on the other side of the map. So we tried to go over there to defend, but obviously that wasn't the case. So it was a little bit of a mistake, but we'll take it. Aggressive play, yeah, that works.
I mean, it's definitely been working out. I mean, with this domination, you're now solo in 4th place for the Heroic Division. Still a little bit behind 9 to 5 Inting for Globes and a Solid School, but really well played so far. And then, I mean, I guess my one remaining question here, my last non-usual question anyway, what do you think about the standings? How far do you think this team can go? What is your ceiling?
Well, 4th is definitely a disappointment. We were definitely aiming for at least 6th. Sorry, no. We want to go up, not down. For at least no, fourth is good then. Fourth is good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fourth is good.
All
Yep.
right. So I take it then you were hoping for top 6. Is that what you were saying?
Yep.
All right. And then my one final. I'm sorry. My one final question. I
You're good. You don't have to apologize.
is is there any shout outs you'd like to give? Anything you'd like to say to your fans and the fans of Potential Scrim Thursday as a whole?
Well, shout out to DH Bob. That's the number one. And then shout out to Key. We miss you.
All right. Well, thank you for coming to this interview and congrats once again on your 2-0.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
You too. Bye bye. Okay, with that interview is over. It's definitely a more unique interview than I'm used to, but okay, yeah, I was not ready for that. But that was a ton of fun. But with that, we are over for the day. I don't think there are any other NGS casts. No, there is one from Eternally Blue, so we will be joining Eternally Blue shortly. But with that being said, thank you all for coming today. Thank you all for watching today. I will be back live tomorrow and really every day this week. Check out nexusgamingseries.org. Look at calendar, and you'll be able to see exactly which games I will be casting. So I'll hopefully see you there. With that, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.